morning, I'm Jamie Seh. This morning on Flashpoint, we are going to celebrate the life of one of Central Florida's most important citizens by showcasing his impact on all of us. Arnold Palmer celebrated his 86th birthday this week. I've had the privilege of getting to know him a little bit over the years. When we talk about his golf game, he says it's gone, it no longer exists. But remains is an incredible legacy, both on the course and right here in Central Florida. With me are two men who know Mr. Palmer much better than I do, and who both work together to ensure his legacy in healthcare continues to grow. First is Dr. Gregor Alexander. Gregor, welcome.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
He's the renowned neonatologist for whom the neonatal intensive care unit at Winnie Palmer Hospital is named. And alongside is John Bozard. John, welcome.
Thank you.
John is the president of Arnold Palmer Medical Center Foundation. Welcome, both of you. And we're celebrating a birthday of sorts along with Mr. Palmer. Not only is it his birthday week, this week in 1989, the Arnold Palmer Hospital for Women and Children opened its doors. That's amazing. What's the first thing that strikes each of you when you look back on these last 26 years? Doctor?
Well, what has been amazing is that we had built the Arnold Palmer Children's Hospital, and 17 years later, because of our success and because of all the support that we got from Arnold Palmer and his family, we were able to build the second hospital, the Women and Babies Hospital. And for us has been two dreams come true, being able to fulfill the needs for all of our children, babies and high-risk mothers in our own lifetime. And it's something amazing, you know, for us that we were in the middle of an adult hospital taking care of these children and these babies, and now we have a state-of-art facility that has the most comprehensive medical care.
26 years ago, John, could you have envisioned the overwhelming number of lives?
You know, Jamie, as Arnold and I have walked down Miller Street and looked at both of those beautiful facilities, and we have said together, you know what, our dreams just weren't big enough. We never could have imagined that we would be where we are today. I mean, we're so proud of the facility, so proud of what we offer, and really what we've done for this community. It's just been an amazing journey for all of us.
It's so great to have you both here, that you could find the time in your schedule to be with us, because the two of you were there in 1984 to take Mr. Palmer on a tour of the children's hospital that was there. His wife Winnie was alongside. What did Mr. Palmer and his late wife Winnie see that day, do you think, Doctor?
Well, they saw the need. They saw that we were doing a remarkable neonatal and children's care under the most difficult circumstances, and in an environment that was unbelievable small, with not all the equipment that we needed for the care of these children and babies. And they knew at that point that we had a dream of building a children's hospital, and that's when they decided to support the concept, and they opened all the doors to make it possible for our dream to come true.
John, how important of a moment was that? Did you realize the importance?
You know, Jamie, I can remember it just as vividly today, because, you know, the one thing that struck me about Arnold and Winnie both, of course, it was my first time to meet him. Here he is, this, you know, the king, and you know, all the accolades that you hear about Arnold, but I was so touched by just the way he and Winnie walked around and talked to people. They were just so real, so humble. Talked about the needs of the organization, and they were so impressed by our physicians, and you know, they met people like Dr. Alexander and some of the others, but I was really struck by this man's humility and his compassion for people, and when he said yes, I mean, it was just amazing to us, you know, a man that has the stature of Arnold Palmer that would say, sure, I'll help you build this hospital. It's like, really? Wow, thank you. Yeah, so it was an exciting time, and we'll never forget it.
It seems like his personality is all over the hospital.
Oh, it is. Yeah, no question about it. I mean, he, you know, he likes to joke at times that, you know, we always use the quote that, you know, we can do better than this. But I will tell you, he put down some pretty strict orders for us, some tall orders for us that we lived by, and he's very serious. You know, he's a man of great compassion. Quality is at the top of his list. Customer service. He wants to make sure that we take care of everybody that walks through the doors. And I remember one of his rules was that no one, you remember this, Gregor, no one would ever be turned away from this facility. And so, what a great guy. What a generous man, too. He's just been a wonderful friend through the years.
That's just amazing. It seems that the phrase good is never good enough with Mr. Palmer. And during an interview with Mr. Palmer, John, you referenced it, we asked him about the first visit to the hospital, and he said that, quote, "We have to do better." But Mr. Palmer told us that it's actually a cleaned up version of what he originally thought. Take a listen.
Well, you're being kind, because my words were really stronger than that at the time, and I wasn't sure that we were going to accomplish anything, and but I let it be known that I thought it was pretty poorly handled.
Good is never good enough. He wants to do better. Dr. Alexander, is there any chance that the hospitals would be what they are today if not for him?
I don't think so. As much of a vision and drive we had at that point, we needed somebody with the charisma, with the emotional support and the recognition for us to be able to build that facility 5 years after he came to the original visit. And that charisma, that compassion, that commitment, that support has continued through the years. You know, we as physicians and as medical staff, we want to emulate him. We want to follow his lead and his example and deliver the best type of medical care, but also with compassion. And as we heal the babies and the children's body, we want to heal their spirits. And the whole facility, the whole Arnold Palmer Medical Center is geared to accomplish both of these goals.
And it's certainly the facilities get it done. John, excellence and compassion. What were some of the other conditions Mr. Palmer asked for?
Well, I will tell you, just looking at that clip, I remember the day that actually it was a few days later, not the first visit, when he came in to really talk about his rules. And he is correct. That is a very mild, cleaner version of his demands. And I say demands lightly because he's so kind. He doesn't ever demand anything, but you can tell he's very serious about what he wants. But I will never forget, he and Winnie both came to my office, closed the door, and he said, "Here are the rules." And it really was about a clean hospital. You know, we laugh because he's always talking about it. Better not ever smell like a hospital. You know, Arnold, that's not the PR statement we want to make. That's not, you know. But he was serious. He wanted it to be a place that was friendly, it was clean, and quality above everything. I mean, he wants us to be in the top ranks from a quality standpoint, and you see well that we have done that. Without a name like Arnold Palmer, we would not have been where we are today. I mean, the doors that he has opened, just the philanthropy, the support of people. You know, for so many years, he wouldn't even let us tell people what he had done personally. It was like, Arnold, you can't imagine how much you and Winnie and all of your companies have given to support this place. And he's just, because of his humility, and he supports so many charities. This is not his only charity. There are a lot of charities. We just have to be one of the bigger ones, and we bear that name and represent a lot of people in this community. But it's all about excellence. It's about service to those to folks. It's about making sure that the place is clean and open to everyone that wants to come into our facilities. And so we've tried hard to live up to that.
And you've done a great job, and it makes such a difference to the lives of so many people in Central Florida. Dr. Alexander, why was it important for you to combine both the women's and children's health in one facility?
Well, it makes sense, you know, to have the babies delivered in the same facility where they were going to be cared. That's a very unique concept that we actually developed in the mid to late 80s. And now many organizations and institutions are trying to duplicate. You know, we cannot separate the mother from the baby. They have to continue as a unit because the babies will improve, as sick and as tiny as they are. They will improve with our medical care, but they need to have the healing touch of the mother, the father, and the significant others. And our facility has been able to accomplish that. Not only they were going to be able to stay while they recover from the delivery, but subsequently they will be able to stay with the baby in some of the rooms that we have developed in the 11th floor of our facility, 24 hours a day. What a remarkable way to reconnect the babies and the parents together.
One of the neat things, too, is when Mr. Palmer comes to visit, how uplifting is he? What is he like with your patients?
Well, the aura that he has, you know, he walks around, as John says, he says hello to everybody, you know, and regardless of what part of the team they are part of it. And to the parents of our babies, to be able to see the person that has the name of the hospital is one of the best days of their life, and to be able to tell them how much they appreciate for his support and what he has done for their babies and children is just tremendous. So to us, it's a holiday every time that he comes, and continues being by day. As many times I had seen him, I really get touched every time that I see him.
Dr. Alexander, you mentioned it. John, what do you think, how uplifting do you think he is for the employees when he comes to visit?
They love it. I mean, they just absolutely love it. And you know, he's been so generous with his time too. You know, a man who's drawn in so many different directions, a man who has required contract appearances at different places. You know, he's never turned us down. We've asked him to come visit a family or visit a patient, or, you know, there are many times when the parents of a child need that uplift, or even our employees, our staff. You know, we go through, see, you know, very difficult traumas, or, you know, lose kids from time to time. A visit from Arnold Palmer to walk through the store, through the doors of the hospital, the hallways, pat someone on the back and say, "You're doing a great job. I appreciate what you're doing for our families and our children." I just can't tell you how uplifting it is to our team members. It is to me personally.
Right, exactly.
I mean, it's so gratifying to have him walk in and tell us. I mean, this morning when I called him to tell him happy birthday, you know, "Arnold, I'm just so excited, you know, to celebrate your birthday today." It was all about the hospital. And it was the hospital's birthday, not his birthday. And so he's just, he's that way. Tell everybody, you know, in Orlando how excited I am about the things that are going on there. So
that's wonderful.
Just a wonderful, wonderful, generous man.
That's wonderful. He certainly is a special person. And we have just started to talk about what Mr. Palmer and the Palmer hospitals mean to Central Florida. When we come back, we'll get into the kind of care that women and children can expect. Care not available just anywhere either. But before we go to break, here's one way you can help support the Palmer hospitals and also enjoy yourself. Make plans to go to the 2016 Arnold Palmer Invitational presented by MasterCard. Tickets went on sale this week, and proceeds from the tournament support both Arnold Palmer Children's Hospital and Winnie Palmer Hospital for Women and Babies. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Flashpoint on News 6. I'm Jamie Seh with Dr. Gregor Alexander, the renowned neonatologist at Winnie Palmer Hospital, and John Bozard, president of Arnold Palmer Medical Center Foundation. Now, over the last several years, I've been able to meet many doctors and patients and tell their success stories. I want to show you one of those stories now and then talk about it after.
I have seen a lot of things in my almost 20 years that people shouldn't see. But it is a different thing when it's yours, when it's your child laying there looking at you like, you know, help me.
Brad Roberts didn't have time to think about what he'd just done. He had to move to save his son.
And I just scooped him up in one motion and just started running towards the house.
I just ran outside and saw him carrying our son across the backyard, and with just blood all over both of them.
Kim Roberts didn't know what happened, but she knew it had something to do with a riding mower. Before the accident, Jacob was a happy little boy, easy for his mom and dad to handle.
He was always happy, always smiling, always laughing. Seemed like every picture we took, he was just ecstatic and just as happy as he could be. He loves school. He loves learning new things. He's an overachiever.
Jacob needed every bit of that determination to survive. He arrived at Arnold Palmer Hospital in pretty bad shape.
It's such a high energy injury, and it's such a destructive thing that there's not much else that's worse than this.
Dr. Mark Birnbaum was the orthopedic surgeon who met Jacob on the way to the operating room. His job was to save Jacob's left arm and salvage what he could of his wrist and hand. He did.
He made such an amazing recovery.
Right next to Dr. Birnbaum in the OR was Dr. Ramon Ruiz, the only pediatric craniomaxillofacial surgeon in Central Florida. He went to work rebuilding Jacob's face.
I initially reconstructed the lower jaw and reconstructed portions of the forehead and skull, saving the parts of the skeleton that were there and stabilizing them with reconstructive bone plates.
Once that work was done, Jacob needed reconstructive plastic surgery.
We had to get creative because we had not seen an injury of this magnitude before.
Dr. Kenneth Lee had the delicate job of transplanting skin and tissue from other parts of Jacob's body to his face.
We needed to create cheeks and inside lining of the mouth and lips and in areas where he'd be able to speak and chew and eat and do everything normally.
How much do you cherish the sight of him running around, kicking a soccer ball out here?
Can't even explain it. I mean, there's nothing that I cherish more than being able to see my family together as 4 and not 3.
Handball!
Such a great kid. Jacob had many surgeries before we did our story, and will have many more as he grows. In June, doctors did more revisions on his mouth. His hand and arm remain stable, though he wears a night brace because his wrist doesn't want to stay straight. And he continues to excel at soccer. He's now playing for a club soccer team in Avalon. Brad and Kim Roberts, the parents, believe none of this would have been possible without Mr. Palmer and the doctors and the nurses at the hospital. And I learned so much about Arnold Palmer Hospital in getting to know Jacob and his parents and the doctors who care for them. There were 3 different doctors just in that story alone. So John, was it always the goal of the hospital to get doctors with different specialties under one roof to handle as many situations as possible?
Certainly one of our goals at the outset was to try to bring in as many pediatric subspecialties as we could. And you know, in an organization like ours where you do operate a pediatric trauma center, the only one here in Central Florida, only pediatric trauma center, it is not unusual, and there's so many stories just like Jacob's story. It's not unusual when a trauma comes in that you might have 25 or 30 people right there at the bedside delivering care. And you know, we mentioned the 3 specialties involved in his case. Those were just the 3 that we highlighted. There were many others. There were general surgeons, anesthesiologists, you know, all types of specialists who were involved in Jacob's case, and will continue to be throughout his lifetime. But one of our goals really early on was to start to bring in those pediatric subspecialties. And you know, one of the recruiting tools that I used during those days was Mr. Palmer. I would have him pick up the phone and call some young physician and say, "Hey, Dr. So-and-so, this is Arnold Palmer. We'd love to have you come join our team. This is a great time." And many of our docs have stories to share about getting that phone call from Arnold Palmer saying, "It's time to come down here and join this team." So we've been so fortunate to have the caliber, quality and caliber of physicians that we have on the team.
That is just fantastic, and one of the best in the world is right next to me.
Absolutely.
Dr. Gregor Alexander, and 40 years. You've cared for 40,000 babies in 40 years. You know, babies who likely, as preemies, didn't have as great of a chance back in the 70s. What's that been like to experience, to save these babies?
A remarkable type of professional life and personal life. To go from the time that we opened the neonatal unit with only 6 babies in a room as tiny as a closet, and babies who were 2 pounds had less than 10% chances of survival, and the 1 pound didn't have any chances at all. Now to get to 142 beds and to be able to save more than 90% of these babies, and be able to save babies in the 1 pound or less with 90% chances of normal mental and physical outcome, has been one of the most rewarding parts of our professional life. Those babies had shown us tremendous tenacity, tremendous will to survive, and they had shown a tremendous spirit, providing we have a team that is committed to deliver care like these babies will be our own children or grandchildren, and will be the only babies that we are carrying at that time in the middle of a very busy unit. It has been really a formula of success. I get too much recognition, but let me tell you, we have estimated 400 people who work with me, all of them are so important in saving the life of these tiny and critical babies.
Doctors, nurses, support staff.
Respiratory therapists, counselors,
Wonderful.
Pharmacy, X-ray tech, laboratory tech, nutritional. It's just amazing the amount of people and volunteers that come and help us enriching the soul and the spirits of our babies when the parents are not able to make it to a neonatal unit.
It's just a world-class team at a world-class facility. We're going to be right back with our guests talking about Arnold Palmer's Central Florida and his never-ending legacy in just a moment. I'm Jamie Seh, and this is Flashpoint on News 6. John, what is Arnold Palmer's legacy in your mind?
Well, first of all, Arnold is a friend. You know, he's just a friend to me. But, you know, and I've said this to Arnold, that as I look back and I think as we reflect over his life, the impact that he's had, and you know, all of the accolades, the tournaments that he's won, the trophies that he's won, the money that he's won, all of the things that that people have known him for, I think that will pale in comparison to the impact that he's had on the lives of people, not only here in Central Florida, but people from around the world. Mm-hmm. Children who come here for their care, moms who come to Orlando to deliver at our hospital because of the quality of care and the service that we give. So I think that history will be very kind to Mr. Palmer, and I think so much of it is going to be about his humility, his heart, and his caring for others. So that's what I think of Arnold, and that to me is going to be his legacy.
Dr. Alexander?
Arnold Palmer has helped us build an excellence of health care for babies, children, and women. That type of excellence in our organization will be carried for generations to come. And we are so grateful to him, to Winnie, and the entire family because of that.
Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining me today. And thank you, Mr. Palmer, and happy birthday to you and your hospitals. That's it for Flashpoint. I'm Jamie Seh. I'll see you tonight on News 6 at 11.